Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you my WWE Friday Night Smackdown review for March 12th, 2015. The reason why I know that is because I've been doing homework and I had to date my papers. So, yeah, that's why I had to put that date on the papers like twice. So that's how I know. Like right off the bat. I pretty much just explained why I am late on the show. So that's pretty much it. That's why. So let's just check out the show and see how it is. Alright, so we have Byron Saxton, Michael Cole, and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary for this show. And then the SmackDown kicks off with Daniel Bryan coming out. And he said for weeks he's been trying to ignore the WrestleMania sign. Because it reminds him of that moment last year when the Yes Movement took him straight to the main event and he became the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But he says he can't ignore it anymore. He said he's going to make a new moment because he said that that moment's not going to happen this year. And when one door closes, another one opens. So he said he's going to make a new moment. And he said that he has been watching the greatest competitors right now fight for the Intercontinental Championship. And he said that when he was a kid on TV, he saw people like Mr. Perfect, Macho Man Randy Savage, Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels fight for the title. And most of the time, they were doing more interesting things than the world title. So Daniel Bryan announces he's going to be in the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. And Bad News Barrett comes out, and he doesn't have his, and he's actually the Intercontinental champion, but he doesn't have his title. And he says that he's going to pretty much beat Bryan at Mania, and he says that he's the rightful Intercontinental Champion. And then Dolph Ziggler comes out, and he says that he is Bad News Barrett's hero because he's so delusional. He says he's the champion, but he can't even keep his title safe. And he says if he can't keep it safe now, what are you going to do when 6 other guys are gunning for your title? And then Luke Harper comes out. And he just says, I want my WrestleMania moment. And that was really it. He was short and sweet to the point. And then Dean Ambrose comes out and he says that he's going to, that since there's a fight about to go on, you guys can't wait to WrestleMania. You can't have it without me. So he gets in the ring and he says he'll fight them all right now. And then Stardust comes out and he's looking for the title. He's asking where it is, pretty much. And then R-Truth comes out and says, that he's going to give B&B his title back after, well, he says he's going to hold on to the title after attaining above the ring. And I climb that, and he says even though he's afraid of heights, he's going to overcome his fear and climb that ladder and get the title. And then B&B says that if you don't give me my title, that it's his title, and tells him to give it to him. And R-Truth says since he has possession of it, he has the most power here. And then B&B goes to grab his title, but then Ziggler and Bryan attack him, and then all the guys stop brawling, and the faces fight off the heels, and then they play the SmackDown theme song. So I'm thinking later on tonight, it's going to be a 6-man match between Ziggler, Ambrose, and Bryan versus Barrett, Harper, and Stardust. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. And then backstage, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd are bragging about how they're the WWE Tag Team Champions. So I thought this was a great opening segment, a great way. The opening segment was a great way to build up the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. I'm not sure if everybody's added yet, but I hope they add Goldust because we haven't seen Goldust. I'm still pissed that Stardust is in it. The only reason why I'm pissed is because they dropped the Goldust and Stardust feud. So I hope they add Goldust to the match, but I don't think they're going to. So that's my only complaint there. But other than that, this was a great opening promo to set up to build up the ladder match, and it's probably going to build up to that 6-man tag match I just talked about. So I thought this was good stuff. Alright, so we get Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, the Los Matadors, which consist of Diego and Fernando, with El Torito and Natalia ringside, and they face Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods with Naomi and Big E ringside. A lot to remember there. That's why I kind of struggled a little bit. And before the match, the Los Matadors cut like a promo in a box, and they talk. I know, like in a video box, not like in an actual box itself. If you've seen wrestling before, you know what I'm talking about. Well, the WWE, anyways. But they talk about how They lost to the WWE Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Kid last week, and this Monday Night on Raw, they wanted to do whatever it took to get themselves into the hunt for the WWE Tag Team Championship, so they took it. So I think that the Los Matadores are definitely heels now. I think it makes sense because you need to have two heels, and because they're going to do a fatal four-way tag team between these teams. So you need to have someone else be a heel. You can't really have it be the New Day because, well, it would make sense if they were heel, but the New Day is kind of doesn't really make sense though. The Usos, the faces, the crowd's over with them, and Cesaro and Kid are heel. So I guess if it had to be somebody, it had to be this team. But this was a good match. The heels get the heat on one of the Usos for a while, and then the other Uso gets the hot tag. And then Kofi Kingston tags himself in. And throughout the match, all the teams have been having dissension. And all hell breaks loose. One of the Matadors accidentally takes out Cesaro. And then Xavier Woods is about to do a dive, and then one of the Usos does it instead, and then Xavier Woods goes to do it, and he accidentally takes out, I think, the Uso that did the dive, and then behind the referee's back, Cesaro uppercuts Kofi Kingston, and Tyson Kidd is going to hit his finisher on him, but one of the Matadors tags himself in, and Kofi Kingston hits a Trouble in Paradise on that Matador, but the referee is distracted by Tyson Kidd because he claims he was the legal man. And then El Torito pulls that Matador, and the Matadors do a switcheroo, and the other Matador hits a backstab on Kofi for the win. So I thought it was a good match and a good finish. And I can't wait to see the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match at Mania. It's actually going to, because it'll be a solid match. And that was about it. So, the good match. Because I don't think anything else happened. Alright, so we get Ryback versus Miz. And before the match starts, backstage, Miz gets interviewed, and he's with Damien Mizdow, his personal assistant. And he gets asked like how he feels about going against one of the odds-on favorites to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And Miz says, well, he's the odds-on favorite, and he goes through like all his accolades, everything he's done in the WWE, and he says he's won every title, but the only thing he hasn't done is win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And then Mizdow says, you shouldn't underestimate my back because he's 239 pounds or something like that. And Miz says, did I ask you, do you not think I can beat Ryback? And he says, I can beat Ryback by myself. You're going to stay back here and you're going to pretty much be my bitch. He says you're going to get me like a latte or something. So, yeah. So we get the match. Good match. Wasn't great, but it was good. And Ryback wins with the shell shock. I thought it was good. And backstage, Damien Mizdow's laughing. So I thought it was pretty good stuff. Alright, so now we get AJ Lee and Paige versus Camlin and Summer Rae with Eva Marie ringside. I don't really care about this match just because I don't care about Camlin. I don't care to see any match that she's in because she sucks. I think she did most of the wrestling in this match too. And the Bella Twins, Nikki and Brie were on commentary for this match, and Paige makes Summer Rae tap out to the PTO. And then afterwards, they get into it a little bit, but the referees break it up before they can actually fight. And then Mark Henry gets interviewed, and he said the reason why he was antagonizing Roman Reigns like that was to motivate him, was to see what he had, and now he believes that Roman Reigns can, and that was it. So I think Mark Henry is a face. But he was just trying to motivate him. I'm not really sure. I think he's a face, though, because he came off of a face here, but he came off as a heel. So I have no clue what Mark Henry is, but we're going to find out probably on Raw this Monday. Alright, so we get the Randy Orton interview. Michael Cole interviews Randy Orton. And it shows like a video package of it. You know, him talking about how he's the apex predator. Nobody's better than him. The stuff that he said before, like in the past. And it shows the footage of when the Authority turned on him, when Seth Rollins curve stomped Randy Orton in November of 2014. And Michael Cole asked how he felt about that, like what did it do to you mentally. And he said that he was never going to forget that, and that he was going to get his revenge on Seth Rollins. And then he talks about how he joined the Authority. But first he talks about how he returned at Fastlane. At first that wasn't the original plan. He just wanted to get his hands on Seth Rollins. But he realized it wasn't going to work out. It was going to be difficult. So he wanted to gain the Authority's trust. And wanted to make them think that he was on their side. So he even did that by using Roman Reigns. And he said that by helping Seth Rollins beat Roman Reigns. And he said that him and Roman Reigns aren't friends and never will be friends. And Randy Orton said that he would use his own grandmother to get to Seth Rollins. And he said that that's when he knew he was going to be in. And he said the reason why he was trashing the Authority on Monday was so is because it was reverse psychology. Seth Rollins was in a good mood. They wouldn't see it coming. And he thought he was joking. So then he saw the perfect opportunity in the main event because it was just him and Seth Rollins, nobody else. And when he talks about how fear drives a man, and that's what he felt through Seth Rollins. And he said that it felt good every time he threw him into the steps and the barricade. And he said that, and Michael Cole then asked him, are you willing to accept the consequences? And he says, yes, I am willing to accept the consequences because it was all worth it. And he said, and Randy Orton says that the first time he's going to do this Monday night, he's going to find Seth Rollins, spit in his face, and challenge him to a match at WrestleMania. I thought this was a great video package. It was great stuff. This is actually going to be the highlight of the show unless this 6-man tag team match impresses me. But let's see. Alright, so now we get Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, and Dolph Ziggler versus Bad News Barrett, Stardust, and Luke Harper. Good match. The heels get the heat on Daniel Bryan for a while, and then Dean Ambrose gets the hot tag. He starts going off on everybody. He hits like a face plant on Stardust. He goes off the top rope and does a dive on Harper and Stardust. He beats the crap out of Barrett, and behind the referee's back, Luke Harper lays him out with a big boot, and then he gets the heat, and then the heels get the heat on him for a while. Then Ambrose hits a drop kick, and then Dolph Ziggler makes the hot tag on Luke Harper, and he starts going off on him, hitting all his moves. One point I thought Luke Harper though was gonna hit a roll up, and I thought he was gonna get him, but Ziggler kicked out and hit a super kick, and then Stardust breaks up the pinfall, and everyone's gonna dive on everybody. Because they're all outside the ring. And Bryan and Ambrose dive on Stardust and Barrett. But Luke Harper laid out Ziggler with the big boot. And then he hits a sit-down powerbomb on Ziggler. And Ziggler kicks out. And then Harper tries to put Ziggler in like a torture rack. But Ziggler thumbs him in the eyes and hits the zigzag for the win. And that was cool. I thought it was a great match. Then afterwards, Michael Cole gets in the ring and interviews Daniel Bryan. And Ziggler says that he stole the victory from him. But he said, hey... it's all in the spirit of WrestleMania season. And he said last year you may have had Lady Luck on your side, but this year it's every man for himself, and Dolph Ziggler's in there. And then Dean Ambrose says to Daniel Bryan that Ziggler might not think he's as good as you, but you're a good person, you're a nice guy, but in reality everyone in the locker room thinks you're a turd. And then Ambrose just leaves, and then Ziggler gets on the mic and says, I don't agree with Ambrose on a lot of things, but you are a turd, bro. And then he leaves, and then that was the end of SmackDown. So, yeah, Daniel Bryan, apparently people think Daniel Bryan's a turd, so, yeah. So that was SmackDown this week. I'm not going to lie, I actually enjoyed SmackDown. There was nothing bad except for the Divas match. That was the only thing that I didn't like on the show. Everything else I thought was pretty solid and good. The only thing I did not like was the Divas match. So that's my review of SmackDown this week. That's pretty much it, guys. See you later.